Cops handcuff black woman general for talking back. One call to Pentagon ends their careers. Before we start today's story, comment below where you're watching from and hit subscribe if you haven't already. You won't want to miss what's next. You picked the wrong black woman to mess with tonight. General Veronica Serena's voice is steady, even when Officer Maddox twists her arm behind her back. The metal handcuffs cut her skin until they bleed. Talking back to a police officer, Captain Rourke says. He stands so close that his shadow falls over her. That's how people like you get in trouble. Serena notices everything. Rourke's badge number. Maddox's name on his shirt. The little scar near Rourke's eyebrow. Search her jacket, Rourke tells Maddox. The search is rough, like they want to hurt her. But they don't find the secret communicator hidden in her coat lining. Get her in the car, Rourke orders. A night in jail will fix that attitude. They push her hard, bending her head as they shove her into the police car. They don't know who they've arrested. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead in the police station. The air smells like sweat and cleaning spray. Serena sits still as they take her mugshot. Her jaw is firm, her eyes straight ahead. Click. Name. The booking clerk asks without looking up. Veronica Serena. Address. Maple Avenue, she says. The clerk pauses. That's Westfield Heights. His tone changes. She presses her thumb on the scanner. Black ink leaves smudges on her skin. The clerk stares as she does it. Behind her, Rourke and Maddox laugh loudly by the water cooler, making sure she can hear. Another one from that neighborhood is acting special, Maddox says. Had to remind her the rules apply, Rourke replies. Serena remembers every word, every voice, every laugh. Phone call, she asks. The clerk points to the wall phone. One call. Make it count. She dials from memory. Not her family. Not a lawyer. Operations Center, Pentagon, a crisp voice answers. Authorization code Sierra Echo 941, Serena says. Oversight Delta. Location silence. Transmitting now. Confirmed. General Serena. Response team in 43 minutes. She hangs up just as Councilman Ronald Alden walks into the station. His championship ring shines under the lights. More trouble? Alden asks, looking at her through the glass. Just processing, Rourke says. Good, Alden answers smoothly. People who refuse checkpoints need consequences. The program is too important. Serena is taken to a holding cell. The heavy door slams shut. She sits tall on the metal bench. The clock on the wall reads 9:17 p.m. In exactly 43 minutes, everything will change. 2 hours earlier. The sun sets orange over Westfield Heights. 52-year-old General Serena drives her plain sedan through streets she knows by heart. Soon the houses change. Nicer, whiter, richer neighborhoods. Suddenly, blue police lights flash. Patrol cars block the road. A checkpoint. She slows down and lowers her window. She hasn't done anything wrong. This should be simple. Officer Maddox comes up, flashlight shining in her face. License and registration. She moves carefully, slowly opening her glove box. Can I ask the reason for this checkpoint? Routine, Maddox says stiffly. She hands him her license. He stares at it. His flashlight lingers on her address. Westfield Heights, he says into his radio. He asks for backup. The way he says it is not friendly. Is there a problem with my ID? Serena asks. Wait here. Maddox walks back to his car and talks with another officer. They laugh, looking at her car. Captain Rourke comes down from a big trailer. Maddox points at Serena. Rourke nods and walks over slowly, acting like he's in charge. Step out of the vehicle, ma'am, Rourke says. His voice sounds polite but carries no respect. Why? My license is valid. Enhanced search protocol. Serena knows the law. Enhanced searches need a reason. What's your reason, Captain? Rourke's jaw tightens. Out of the car. She steps out calmly. For the record, this looks like selective enforcement, she says. We decide what's selective, Rourke snaps. Hands on the hood. I don't consent to a search without probable cause, Serena says. Terry versus Ohio and Delaware versus Prowse make that clear. Look at this lawyer, Rourke mocks. Thinks she knows the law. I know my Fourth Amendment rights, Serena answers firmly. Your kind always complicates things, Rourke says. Then he pretends to correct himself. Troublemakers. My kind. Serena raises an eyebrow. Nearby drivers watch. Some start recording with their phones. Rourke sees this and signals Officer Reggie. Clear the cars. No recording. Reggie walks to each car, telling people to put their phones away. Serena memorizes faces, badges, license plates. Last chance, Rourke says. Consent or get charged with obstruction. I decline. I request a supervisor, she answers calmly. I am the supervisor. Rourke signals. Detain her. Maddox twists Serena's arm hard, pain shooting through her shoulder. Stop resisting, he yells. She isn't resisting. I am not resisting, Serena says loudly, so any recording will catch it. I am complying under protest. Rourke leans close. You don't tell us how to do our jobs. She notices Maddox's body camera. The red light turns off. Your camera seems broken, Officer Maddox, she says. Mind your business. He squeezes harder. She could fight back, she's trained, but not tonight. Not for this mission. I'll be filing a formal complaint, she says. Rourke laughs. Councilman Alden runs this checkpoint. Your complaint goes where he wants. Her watch buzzes. She taps it. A secret GPS beacon activates. Now the Pentagon tracks her every move. Search the car, Rourke orders. Sir, without a warrant. We have checkpoint authority, Rourke interrupts. Anything, he calls. Clean, sir. Under the seats. These Westfield people are always hiding something. Nothing is found. Rourke frowns. You're interfering with a lawful checkpoint. That's obstruction, he says. Invoking constitutional rights isn't obstruction, Serena answers evenly. Veronica Serena, you're under arrest, Rourke declares proudly. For obstruction and resisting inspection. A young woman in a nearby car still records secretly. Her eyes meet Serena's. Serena nods slightly. You have the right to remain silent, Rourke says. I know my Miranda rights, Captain, Serena interrupts. You'll be taken to Greenfield Station. That's right. I'll need my phone call there. You'll get what we decide, Maddox sneers, pushing her toward the cruiser. As Serena is led away, she sees Reggie pulling over another Westfield Heights driver while 3 white drivers roll through unchecked. Pattern noted. Evidence building. Officer Maddox, badge number 4572, Serena says out loud. That force was unnecessary. Shut up. Maddox snaps, shoving her into the car. Through the window, Serena sees Rourke laughing, pointing toward Westfield Heights like it's a joke. The cruiser drives off. Serena sits quietly. Everything is happening as planned. The interrogation room smells like old coffee and dirty mop water. One bright light shines above. Serena sits straight in the hard chair, cuffs tight on her wrists. 2 hours pass. Rourke enters with a thin file and her things. He drops them on the table. Comfortable? He asks with a fake smile. Serena stays silent. Silence makes bullies show themselves. Veronica Serena. Westfield Heights. No priors, Rourke reads. First time learning about checkpoints. I'll speak with my attorney, she says. Soon enough, he replies. I invoke my right to counsel, she says firmly. Rourke ignores it. People here don't respect authority. They don't like rules. Checkpoints keep us safe. Serena doesn't answer. His tricks wouldn't fool a first-year cadet. Rourke flips through her wallet. He pauses at a card. He laughs. Marine Corps General. 4 stars. He tosses it back. Cute fake. That credential is authentic, Serena replies, steady. Sure. And I'm the Secretary of Defense. He laughs. His phone buzzes. He leaves. Through the wall, Serena hears another voice. Councilman Alden. Another one from that neighborhood, he says. Had a fake military ID too. Rourke laughs along. Serena remembers every word. Rourke and Maddox return. They slam a confession paper on the table. Sign it. Plead guilty to obstruction. You'll be out by morning. Serena studies the paper. I want my attorney before I sign anything. Maddox looms behind her. The captain asked nicely, and I declined respectfully. You people from Westfield Heights think you're special, Rourke sneers. This program cut crime in Greenfield 30%. By targeting certain neighborhoods? Serena asks. Rourke smiles thinly. By enforcing the law where it needs enforcing. This interview is over until the councilman arrives, Serena says calmly. Rourke drops her military ID on the floor and steps on it. This costume doesn't impress me. He tosses it back. 4 stars. Fake. Maddox presses down on her shoulders. Rourke leans close. We've got all night. A knock. The door opens. Detective Ethan Daniel enters. He looks sharp, professional. Captain, a word, Daniel says. Rourke leaves with him. Soon Daniel comes back, Rourke behind him, looking tense. Officer Maddox, they need you at the front desk, Daniel says. Maddox looks at Rourke, who nods angrily. Maddox leaves. Daniel picks up Serena's ID, tilting it under the light. Captain, this has microprinting, holograms, watermarks. It's real. It's a good fake, Rourke says. No, sir, Daniel replies. I served before joining the department. This is genuine. Rourke's confidence cracks. Then she stole it, Rourke mutters. Daniel turns to Serena with respect. Ma'am, your name and rank? General Veronica Serena, United States Marine Corps. Daniel straightens. A soldier's bearing recognizes another's. What brings you to Greenfield? He asks. Irrelevant, Rourke snaps. She's being processed for obstruction. Daniel doesn't back down. Department policy requires verifying military credentials. Section 14 says so. I know the manual. Then you know we're already breaking it. She asked for an attorney. You ignored it. You kept her here too long. That's against procedure. Rourke steps closer. Detective, remember your place. My place is making sure rules are followed, Daniel answers calmly. He looks again at Serena's 4-star card. He breathes, realizing the truth. Sir, Daniel says quietly, there are only a handful of 4-star generals in the country. The room falls into silence. The big metal door of the police station room swung open again. A man named Councilman Alden walked in without knocking. He wore a fancy suit, a shiny ring, and carried himself like he was the most important person in the world. Captain, why is this taking so long? He asked, sounding impatient. I thought this would be easy. His sharp eyes turned toward Serena, watching her carefully, like he was trying to figure out who she really was. Councilman, Detective Daniel said, we may have arrested a very important military officer. We need to check if that's true. Alden laughed a little. Based on what? Daniel answered, her ID card and details look like she's a Marine Corps general. It should be easy to check. Your concern is noted, Alden said sharply. But let the captain handle it. Daniel stood still. He didn't want to back down. Doing the right thing wasn't something you hand off. Captain, Alden said, turning now. Finish the paperwork and process her. Detective Daniel, go do something else. Sir, Daniel said firmly, rules say we have to verify. Rules are what I say they are, Alden cut him off. This checkpoint program works under a special rule. My rule. Serena watched Daniel. She could see the fight inside him. Follow orders or follow his heart. Councilman, Daniel said carefully, can I at least make one phone call to check her identity through the military? Just one call. Alden tilted his head, studying him. You're new here, aren't you? I transferred here 6 months ago, Daniel replied. Then you'd better learn how we keep things under control. By breaking people's rights? Daniel asked. Alden's smile grew cold. By keeping order. Don't make this harder than it is. Then the phone on the wall rang loudly. All three looked at it. Captain Rourke picked it up. This is Captain Rourke, he said. His face changed as he listened. What? A call about General Serena? From where? His face grew pale. He hung up slowly. Well, Alden demanded. The front desk is getting calls about General Serena, Rourke said softly. From who? The Pentagon. The room went still. Alden waved his hand. Probably some friend of hers playing a trick, Ken. They knew her name, Rourke whispered. Her rank too. They asked why she was here. Daniel could see Alden's confidence cracking. Sir, Daniel said gently, do you realize who we might have arrested? Alden raised his hand to silence him. Captain, check this right now. Rourke rushed out. Alden turned back to Serena, speaking more smoothly now. If you really are military, then you know checkpoints are important for safety. I understand the Constitution, Serena answered. And I understand unfair treatment. Alden forced a fake smile. Surely we can clear this up peacefully. Serena didn't bother to answer. The wall phone rang again, sharp and loud. Rourke came back, looking shaken. That was Colonel Marcus from the military police. They confirmed she is a general. Excellent, Alden said quickly, trying to regain control. Release her. Tell her we're sorry for the mix-up. Rourke swallowed hard. There's more. They're sending people here. Alden's smile twitched. What people? A military investigation team, Rourke said. They specifically asked about your checkpoint program, sir. Alden looked at Serena. His face showed he realized tonight wasn't an accident. Serena looked back. She didn't need to say anything. Alden went to the door and shut it, as if the door could keep out what was coming. What's happening? He asked. Serena stayed silent. Her mission never needed her to explain. Rourke's radio buzzed. Captain, we're getting calls from the Pentagon, the Department of Justice, and the governor's office. Handle it. Alden snapped. Sir, Rourke said nervously, they're all asking about General Serena. Daniel understood before Alden did. He stepped close to Serena. Would you like the handcuffs off, General? Detective, stop, Alden growled. Daniel didn't listen. She's been confirmed. He unlocked the cuffs with his small brass key. My apologies, General, he said respectfully. Alden's eyes widened. Detective, prepare the paperwork for her release. Now. In a moment, Daniel replied calmly. He turned to Serena. General, what happens next? Serena rubbed her sore wrists. Next, justice, she said. Alden laughed nervously. This was just a misunderstanding. 6 months of violations isn't a misunderstanding, Serena replied. The Pentagon has been watching this checkpoint program since it started. They've been collecting proof, building a case. Tonight was the moment to act. Rourke's radio buzzed again. Captain, 3 black SUVs just arrived. Military people are getting out. Alden panicked. Release her now. Blame the officers. Say it was a mistake. Rourke hesitated. Daniel stepped forward and finished unlocking Serena's cuffs. "My apologies, General," he said again. Alden's face twisted. "Detective, do the paperwork." Daniel ignored him. Serena stood tall. "This isn't just about me. It's an investigation." "Into what?" Alden scoffed. "Into civil rights violations," Serena said firmly. "Your checkpoints targeted minority neighborhoods. You violated the Fourth Amendment. You set quotas by race and district." Alden's smile hardened. "That's ridiculous." "Documented," Serena answered. The radio buzzed again. Military vehicles entering the lot. Alden scrambled. "Release her immediately. Call it miscommunication." But it was too late. Daniel slid a small USB drive across the table. Internal Affairs tried to stop this. The doors kept closing. "I gathered everything I could. Checkpoint maps, arrest numbers, internal messages." Serena looked at him. "Evidence of obstruction?" Daniel nodded. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hall. "It's time, General," Daniel whispered. The interrogation room door opened. A Marine in full uniform entered with 2 MPs. He had a silver eagle on his shoulders. "General Serena," he said, saluting. She stood and saluted back. "Colonel Marcus, thank you for responding quickly. But remember, this plan started long before the cuffs." She thought back. Earlier, at sunset, when the sky was orange over Westfield Heights, she had chosen her route carefully. It crossed into Greenfield, where policies changed depending on who you were. She had filed complaints, mapped the stops, and traced the bad law back to Alden's committee. Tonight was the turning point. She wore normal clothes, no uniform or medals. Just a jacket with a hidden microphone sewn inside and a watch set for truth. At the roadblock, Officer Maddox played his part. His flashlight paused at her address, not her expiration date. He smirked with another officer. The captain arrived, like a curtain rising. "Step out," they ordered. "Hands on the hood." She gave them chances to follow the law. They kept choosing power. People gathered to watch but got pushed away. Cameras went dark. She stayed calm, steady like a clock. At the station, Captain Rourke thought he could scare her. Bad lighting, a slammed file, harsh words. He thought her silence was fear. It was bait. She asked for a lawyer. He ignored it. He called her ID a costume. She noted every mistake. She overheard Alden in the hall saying, "Make an example out of her." Maddox's body camera died, as expected. Daniel noticed. Not because he was foolish, but because he had once worn a uniform himself. He checked her ID carefully. He cited the rulebook. He asked for a phone call. Alden tried to shut him down with his special ordnance. But he didn't know Internal Affairs had already tried to investigate him. He didn't know Serena had already dialed the Pentagon. She kept the call short. Operation name, coordinates. Oversight Delta meant the Pentagon already had the evidence. She wasn't alone tonight. 43 minutes was enough. Enough for Rourke to push too far, for Alden to walk into the room, for Daniel to show his true courage. Enough for the neighbors at the checkpoint to become witnesses later. Back in the room, Alden thought a smile could erase it all. "We can settle this," he said. Serena listed the crimes: racial profiling, quota sweeps, city laws twisted out of shape. "Absurd," Alden said. "Documented," Serena replied. Rourke's radio kept buzzing. Pentagon, DOJ, Governor's Office. Reality pressed down. Daniel used his small brass key and freed Serena's wrists. "My apologies, General." Alden ordered paperwork, but Daniel asked Serena, "What happens next?" "Justice," she said. Alden mocked her. She reminded him that 6 months of data couldn't be hidden. The hallway thundered with heavy boots. Vehicles idled outside. Alden grabbed the doorknob out of habit. Serena told him the knob no longer mattered. Daniel slid the USB drive across the table. Inside, reports, messages, numbers, evidence of corruption. Internal affairs needed help, Serena whispered. Daniel nodded. Colonel Marcus didn't waste time. Salute. Confirmation. MPs ready. Serena returned the salute. The MPs weren't there to scare anyone. They were witnesses. Alden straightened his jacket like it could protect him. Rourke stared at the floor. Serena asked for her belongings back, for a list of who touched her ID, for Maddox's failed camera report. She listed witnesses by their jackets and shoes. Daniel took notes. Councilman Alden, Serena said. You'll want a lawyer present. This is a misunderstanding, he muttered. Misunderstandings don't usually involve calls from the Pentagon, Daniel replied. Marcus asked for a private room to interview people. An MP collected body cameras. Procedure finally walked the right path. Serena asked for photos of her wrists. Daniel arranged it. Rourke stood there, regretting his choices. Alden finally picked up the governor's call, saying yes to everything without meaning it. Daniel contacted a woman named Alina Park, who had filmed the checkpoint. She agreed to come share her video. Serena requested Daniel handle it personally. Alden tried to object but realized every word now sounded guilty. The MPs collected evidence. Serena asked for the ordnance law and the city attorney's notes. She flipped through the binder and showed the twisted parts. This section invites profiling, she said. The front desk sergeant said reporters were gathering outside. Keep them back, Alden yelled. We can't stop them on public sidewalks, the sergeant said. Colonel Marcus asked for another entrance to avoid a scene. We'll brief later, he said. That meant there would be an official record, not just rumors. Serena asked Daniel to keep safe the evidence bag that had her wallet, keys, and phone. Daniel said yes and wrote down the chain of custody, which means who touched the bag and when. Serena pressed her palms on the table and took a deep breath. Then Officer Maddox came running in the doorway. He was breathing hard and looked surprised when he saw the other police. Officer Keene, Marcus said. Come inside. Maddox's eyes jumped from Rourke to Alden, then to Serena, who stared at him without blinking. Where's your body camera? Marcus asked. Battery died, Keene said quickly. At what time? Marcus asked. Maddox went silent. His throat tightened. I don't remember, he said. We'll check the logs, Daniel said. Maddox looked at the floor. General Serena says you used too much force when you moved her, Marcus added. Maddox swallowed. We'll look at the transport video, Marcus said. Rourke tried to change the topic. Colonel, with respect, our department is already stretched thin. Then you should welcome the truth, Marcus said. Alden cut in. Captain Rourke has my full trust. That's noted, Marcus said, voice flat like paper. Daniel asked Maddox, did Captain Rourke tell officers to stop people from recording at the checkpoint? Maddox looked at Alden before answering, which gave away the truth. Yes, Maddox said. Drivers were told to put their phones down. Serena leaned forward. You know people are allowed to record police, right? Maddox's jaw moved. We needed control. Control doesn't beat the Constitution, Serena said. Especially when control is used unfairly. Alden snapped. General, you're not here to lecture my department. I'm here because your department arrested me after I asked for a lawyer, Serena said. That one sentence writes the lecture by itself. Daniel asked for stop data from different neighborhoods. A clerk brought it fast. A tech showed the numbers. The numbers told the story. Westfield Heights people were stopped way more often than others. Greenfield drivers passed through easily. This alone doesn't prove intent, Alden said. It proves the effect, Serena answered. And intent often shows up after effect is clear. Rourke rubbed his temples. Daniel asked for names of supervising officers, including Reggie. A dispatcher said Reggie was still at the checkpoint, shutting it down. Have him return, Marcus said. Then Alina Park's video arrived by email. Daniel put it on a screen. The sound wasn't perfect, but the pictures were. You could see Rourke waving to clear cars when phones came out. You could see Reggie holding up his hand like a stop sign to block cameras. You could hear Maddox saying, "Stop resisting," even while Serena stood still, her shoulders yanked by someone else. "This looks bad," Rourke said weakly. "It looks true," Daniel said. "Truth is the point." The governor's office called again, asking for names and percentages. Alden tried to stall, but stalling time was over. "We're cooperating fully," he said on the phone. Marcus wrote an official notice of investigation. Serena signed her statement. Daniel added a note. Serena had asked for a lawyer at 7:41 p.m. and again at 8:03 p.m. Both were ignored. Maddox signed the chain of custody form with a shaking hand. Rourke stared at himself in the one-way glass, unsure if he liked the man he saw. "Councilman," Marcus said, "you must stay for an interview under oath. We'll work with the U.S. Attorney." Alden nodded stiffly. "Anything else?" If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe and share your favorite part in the comments below. And don't forget to drop a heart to show your support. "Yes," Serena said. "Your Ordinance 27-9 will be reviewed to see if it breaks the Constitution. Expect a federal recommendation." Alden tried to push back. The city's crime rate dropped 30%. "Cite your sources," Serena said. "Preferably not ones written by your own office." Daniel gave Alden a form to sign. Alden signed slowly, like the pen was heavy. Marcus turned to Rourke. "Captain, bring me all checkpoint orders from the last 6 months, including emails and texts." Rourke nodded, throat dry. Daniel asked for the shift roster. Maddox said nothing. Reggie's radio crackled. "Checkpoint cleared. Officer Reggie, return to the station," Daniel said. "Copy," Reggie answered. Serena asked the booking clerk to print all log entries since she arrived. The ink dried like a timeline that turned into a map. Outside, a reporter shouted, "Is it true a Marine general was arrested here tonight?" Alden flinched but acted like he didn't hear. Marcus gave a short statement. "Ongoing investigation. No further comment." Serena liked silence. Silence kept the story from becoming a show too soon. Daniel came back. "Alina Park will write an affidavit," he said. "She also found 2 other drivers who recorded." Alden blinked. Witnesses multiply when fear disappears. Serena thought of Westfield Heights. Parents explaining to teens why being polite hadn't saved them last month or the one before. She thought of block meetings in church basements, grief turning into planning, because it had to. She didn't say it out loud. She wrote it in her statement, 2 sentences about effect. Fear changes lives, reroutes futures until a map looks like a cage. Daniel read it and added a line, "Fear isn't random." Alden stared at his shoes. Reggie arrived, knuckles red from cold even though it wasn't deep winter. He saw the uniforms, the MPs, the colonel's ribbons. "Officer Reggie," Daniel said, "did you tell drivers to put phones away?" Reggie's eyes moved. A flinch without running. "I told them recording was interfering," he said. "On whose order?" "Command staff," Reggie said, glancing at Rourke. "Did you write that order down?" "No." Reggie shook his head. "Verbal?" "Yes." "We'll need a written summary," Daniel said. "Names. Times." Reggie nodded once. Alden tried again to spin the story. "General, surely you agree that order must be kept." "Order is supposed to protect rights, not crush them," Serena said. "When it flips, it's no longer ordered." Maddox spoke softly. "We were told Westfield residents were running guns." "By who?" Daniel asked. Maddox hesitated. "Briefings. Show them," Marcus said. "If none exist, note that." Maddox opened his mouth, but no words came. Rourke looked at the floor. Serena watched Alden feel the room shift. Daniel's phone buzzed. Internal Affairs had messaged. Past complaints about the checkpoint were sent back to command and buried. He showed Marcus, who only nodded, as if he expected it. Serena asked for Alden's first memo about the ordnance. It arrived. It had a lot about making people feel safe, but little about probable cause. Daniel highlighted 2 lines that basically meant quotas without saying the word. "That won't age well," Daniel said. Serena asked to call her lawyer now that the heat had cooled. Marcus gave her a secure line. She spoke briefly, flagged jurisdiction issues, and asked a civil rights team to contact community leaders before rumors grew wild. She hung up and turned to Daniel. "Document everything. Names, times, who stood where." He nodded. He was already doing it. The station felt different now, like after an earthquake. Same walls, but new angles. In the bullpen, a TV flickered with low sound. Alden's aide came in, cheeks red. "Sir, reporters want to comment." He whispered something else Alden didn't like. Alden waved him away and turned to Serena. "General, if the program needs changes, we can make a task force." "The program needs accountability," Serena said. "And then dismantling." Rourke looked up, shocked at the word. Daniel kept writing. Marcus whispered to an MP, who left to lock the evidence. Maddox shifted like gravity had changed. Daniel printed 2 copies of Alina Park's statement and matched times between her video and the station logs. "Synchronization matters," he said to himself. Serena signed a receipt for her things, each item photographed and tagged. She asked for the evidence bag to stay sealed until review. Rourke agreed. Saying no would need courage he didn't have left. Alden's phone rang again. He ignored it. The young clerk who had taken Serena's prints earlier peeked in. "General, do you need water?" Serena smiled. "Yes, thank you." The clerk brought a bottle, looking like his world had shifted a little. Serena drank and set it aside, the plastic crinkling under her fingers. Daniel finished his notes and clicked his pen shut with purpose. "General," he said, "Internal Affairs will want formal interviews tomorrow." "I'll be here," Serena said. Alden stared at the door. Marcus checked his watch. "We'll begin formal advice now." An MP read rights to Rourke, Maddox, Reggie, and the booking clerk. "The process treats everyone the same when it's allowed to work." Serena stood, feeling blood flow again where the cuffs had pinched. She remembered the roadside moment when she could have fought but chose strategy instead. Strategy lasts longer than strength. She looked through the glass. Outside, cameras flashed in the rain. Daniel's phone buzzed. "2 more drivers just sent video," he said. "Both show white drivers waved through." "Save and copy them," Marcus said. "Chain them." Serena looked at Alden. "Councilman, those are the people you serve." "I serve the whole city," he said. "Then you'll be glad to know that means them too," Serena replied. The room was loud without sound. It had momentum now. Serena picked up her packet and added one last line. "Justice isn't loud. It is thorough." Then a Marine officer in dress uniform entered with 2 MPs. Silver eagles on his shoulders shined under the lights. "General Serena," he said, saluting. Serena stood and returned it. "Colonel, thank you for coming fast." "Of course, ma'am," he said. Procedure flowed like music. Custody handed over. Interviews scheduled. Evidence locked. Logs written. Outside, cameras flashed across wet pavement like slow lightning. Inside, Veronica Serena stood still. "Exactly," Marcus said, turning to the group. "I'm Colonel Adrian Marcus, Defense Investigations Directorate. These are my colleagues." Alden stepped forward, fake smile in place. "Councilman Roland Alden, Greenfield City Council." "A regrettable mistake." "Councilman, stay here," Marcus said calmly. "My team has questions." Alden's smile broke. "Questions?" I knew nothing about the general's arrest. Noted, Marcus said flatly. He looked at Rourke. Captain, give the general your main conference room. Rourke hesitated. Colonel, this is a police station. I have direct orders from the Secretary of Defense. Marcus cut him off. Your cooperation isn't optional. The room filled with movement. Investigators rolled in cases, strung cables, copied drives. Evidence techs photographed and sealed items. Serena watched like a commander reading a battlefield. Angles, exits, choke points. Alden's alarm showed in his eyes. This is too much for a small arrest, he said. This isn't about my cuffs, Serena replied. It's about what the cuffs revealed. Status teams deployed, Marcus confirmed. Evidence locked. Governor's office on a secure line. Alden tried to slip out, but MPs blocked him politely. This is outrageous. I have rights, Alden said. Exactly, Serena answered. So does everyone you trapped at your checkpoints. She and Marcus moved to the conference room. Screens lit up with maps and charts. Daniel brought a box of files. Internal documents requested, he said. Thank you, Detective, Serena said. Your hard work matters. Rourke, Maddox, and Alden sat apart like magnets repelling. Serena sat at the head. She began. 6 months ago, the Pentagon got complaints about your checkpoint program targeting minority neighborhoods. We saw possible Fourth Amendment violations. Then worse. She showed a map glowing red and yellow. Here are your checkpoints, she said. Westfield Heights was hit hardest. Stop rate, 89%. Arrest rate, 94%. Rourke tried, crime stats explained it. Your own traffic study disproves it, Serena replied. Another slide showed equal violations across groups. Emails appeared on the screen. Serena read, Captain Rourke, your message March 12th. Prioritize vehicles from Westfield Heights. Higher arrest yield. Rourke's face paled. Context. Context, Serena repeated, dropping another document. Arrest targets linked to Westfield addresses. Alden jumped in. Operations were the department's job. I only approved the idea. Serena tilted her head. Is that so? She nodded to Marcus. Another document filled the screen. Operating instructions. At the bottom, Alden's signature. This tells officers to target by neighborhood, a stand-in for race, Marcus said. Alden cracked. This is a witch hunt. This is accountability, Serena answered. She nodded to Daniel. Detective, your findings. Daniel stepped up. I saw unfair arrest patterns within weeks. Speaking up got me reassigned, but I kept documenting. Officers were told to treat residents differently. Not true, Rourke barked. Serena pressed play. A briefing recording played. Rourke's voice, remember, Westfield plates get the full treatment. Make the stop stick. The room went silent. Alden jumped to his feet. I need my lawyer. You'll get that, Serena said calmly, sliding Rourke a folder. These are only the last 6 months. Rourke's hands shook as he opened it. The investigation grew deeper. Forensics bagged body cams. Lawyers cataloged rule-breaking. Techs imaged servers. Serena found Daniel leafing notes. Detective, she said softly, your backbone kept this from vanishing. He sighed. I should have done more sooner. You did what you could inside a broken system, Serena said. Serena replies. That's courage, not failure. Daniel closes a file. He says, when I moved here, the checkpoint program was sold as a new kind of friendly community policing. I wanted to believe it, Serena asks. When did you stop believing? Daniel pauses. His face shows sadness for a moment. 3 months ago, he said, my older brother visited. He was stopped, held for hours, never charged, just punished. His only mistake was being a black man in the wrong neighborhood. Serena nods. We'll fix that. Why send you? Daniel asks softly. Why send a 4-star general for a local problem? Because some problems are bigger than just money, Serena says. Violating people's rights destroys trust, brings chaos, and weakens the Constitution we promised to protect. Daniel listens. What happens to them? To Alden, to the officers? Due process, Serena says. They will get the same rights they took from others. And for those who were hurt, we'll review cases, clear records, and pay damages. She looks at him. Your brother's case goes first. Daniel blinks fast, swallows hard. This isn't just about tonight, is it? It never was, Serena says. What's next? Daniel asks, standing straighter. Gather all the evidence, Serena says. Your words will matter to a federal jury. I'm ready, Daniel answers. The night sky fades to purple outside Greenfield Station. Government cars line up. FBI agents shake hands with defense lawyers. DOJ attorneys open laptops. The mood moves from questions to prosecution. Walls fill with charts. Screens show files. Rourke sits away from his squad. Alden's lawyer whispers, but Alden ignores him. Marcus walks in with a new team. General, he says. The Secretary of Defense sends greetings. We are now a joint task force. Serena nods. Good. Full meeting now. Officials gather, state, federal, military. The governor's man sits by the Deputy Attorney General. Serena steps forward. She looks calm but in charge. What started as a simple program became a pattern of breaking the Constitution. Today, we'll look at 3 kinds of proof: videos, audio, and documents. The main screen turns on. First, video. Dashcam footage fills the wall. A man from Westfield Heights, polite, ordered out of his car without reason. His car was searched without permission, then arrested for obstruction. This happens again and again in hundreds of stops. Serena points. On one side of the screen, white drivers waved through with a smile. On the other side, black drivers from Westfield searched, handcuffed. The department's own cameras show the unfairness. She says, white drivers stopped 8% of the time. Black drivers 82%. Alden yells. Videos can be edited to fake patterns. These are your own recordings, unchanged, Serena says. Timestamps are intact. A heat map glows. Checkpoints were placed to trap residents leaving Westfield Heights. Rourke shifts uncomfortably. You called it traffic safety, Serena says, showing the ignored study that said checkpoints should go elsewhere. Second, audio. A crackly clip plays. Rourke's voice. Councilman wants more arrests from Westfield. Make it happen. Maddox joins in. Even without reason, Rourke. Find a reason. Broken tail light. Failure to signal. Pull them out. You'll find something. Alden shouts. That could be anyone. Voice analysis confirms Rourke and Maddox, Serena says. Recorded during official briefings. Another clip plays. Alden's voice is smooth and cold. Public safety is what we say. Property values are why we do it. Keep Westfield's people out of our neighborhoods. Alden stiffens. Serena's watch gleams. My watch was recorded last night, she says. I captured things you thought I couldn't hear. People whisper. Finally, documents. Emails, texts, memos pour across the screens. Rourke to his squad. Quotas discussed. Numbers up in Westfield. Stats follow. Arrest rates by race. Search rates by area. Conviction outcomes by group. Black drivers were arrested 7 times more than white drivers for the same things. Serena holds up 2 arrest reports. Same violation. Different race. Different results. Then city planning slides appear next to developer emails and money ledgers. Councilman Alden took large donations from developers who wanted Westfield Heights land. Serena says the plan needed families to leave. Checkpoint harassment lowered property values. Developers bought cheap. Civil rights abuses were hidden as economics. Alden's aides whisper to him. Alden waves them off. Lies. Politics, he says. Serena answers. The receipts say otherwise. She nods to Daniel. He plugs in a drive. Detective Daniel tracked the machine from inside, she says. Daniel stands. I collected proof of neighborhood-based quotas and orders to break constitutional rules. Screens show performance reviews tied to Westfield arrest numbers, checkpoint schedules matching church services, community events, businesses. Most damning, Daniel says, complaints were buried, reports marked solved without checking, witness statements changed, videos deleted. He shows a chart of case outcomes. The system protected itself. Silence falls. Serena speaks. This was never about me. I tested the checkpoints after months of gathering intelligence, and the results matched our predictions. She turns to Alden. Your program broke the Fourth Amendment, targeted people by race, and covered it up when challenged. A DOJ lawyer stands. We've seen enough to support civil rights charges. Alden panics. This is a misunderstanding. The program was for safety. The evidence says otherwise. Serena answers calmly. Alden shouts again. You provoked this. I was trapped. Serena answers. I drove through a public checkpoint. My rights were violated like hundreds of others. She holds up a paper. This is the Defense Department order signed by the Secretary. She says, it started after service members reported discrimination at your checkpoints. Alden's face finally cracks. Serena ends. The investigation is complete. Federal prosecutors will now decide charges. Another analyst plugs in a laptop. Evidence reaches back 3 years. FBI agents step toward Rourke, Maddox, and others. DOJ attorneys approach Alden. The lead prosecutor says calmly, Councilman Roland Alden, you are under federal investigation for civil rights violations, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice. Chairs scrape. Alden jumps up. I need a press statement. I'll control the story. He rushes to a side door. 2 military police are already there. The door that opened for him yesterday does not open today. 1 week later, Capitol Hill filled with cameras and reporters. A hearing room fills with lawmakers, staff, press, and citizens who lived through the checkpoints. General Veronica Serena sits at the witness table in full uniform. 4 stars shine on her shoulders. The chair gavels. This hearing on civil rights in local policing will come to order. General Serena, thank you for coming. Serena leans into the mic. Thank you for the chance. Summarize the investigation, the chair asks. Serena begins. 6 months ago, DOD got complaints from service members stopped at Greenfield checkpoints. A first review found likely violations against minority neighborhoods. She shows slides, the placements, the disparities, the money motives behind policy. Our investigation confirms systemic Fourth Amendment violations. Citizens were stopped, searched, and arrested without cause. A member interrupts. Why the Pentagon, not just the DOJ? Serena answers. The first complaints came from uniformed service members. We joined with the DOJ when civilians showed the same pattern. A map shows Westfield Heights trapped in checkpoints. Residents faced harassment just going to work, school, or the store. Then stats, arrest rates beside conviction rates, the curves never lining up. Most troubling, Serena says, is that the city itself authorized this. Councilman Alden personally directed targeting by race. Another member asks about those responsible. Serena answers without pause. Alden faces federal civil rights charges. Rourke and 5 officers are indicted. The checkpoint program is shut down. All convictions from unconstitutional stops are under review to be cleared. The chair nods. General, why did you personally test the checkpoints? Serena answers. Systems show themselves under pressure. As a black woman and a senior officer, I could prove the gap between policy and practice in a way they couldn't dismiss. A supportive member says Detective Ethan Daniel's work was crucial. Detective Daniel, please stand. Daniel rises. Applause fills the room. Serena nods to him. His integrity shows the best of policing. The chair asks for recommendations. Serena lists them. Independent oversight of checkpoints. Mandatory data by race. Punishment for departments with discrimination. She looks at each member. Rights are not optional. They don't depend on zip code or money. Questions continue. Serena answers clearly, always focused on equal protection. When it ends, the chair announces a new bill, the Equitable Enforcement Act, with federal standards for checkpoints, transparency, accountability, and constitutional compliance. Outside, Serena meets Daniel. The committee was impressed, she says. The DOJ Civil Rights Division offered me a job. Daniel smiles. I accepted. Sometimes you fix the system from inside. Your brother? Serena asks. Record cleared, Daniel says. He's helping lead a class action for victims. Serena nods. Justice is slow, but speaking out is faster than silence. 2 months later, a Westfield Heights community center is full. Residents sit in folding chairs for a town hall with the new police chief. Serena, in normal clothes, sits in the back listening. Daniel, now a community liaison, helps run it. The new chief explains reforms. Body cameras always on, public dashboards of stop data, a strong civilian oversight board. Afterward, an older woman walks up to Serena. You're the general, right? The one who ended the checkpoints. Serena smiles. I helped show the truth. You did more, the woman says, eyes bright. Back in the hearing, Serena had shown more visuals. Split screens of white drivers waved through quickly, black drivers stopped and held long. Captions noted the same violations, different outcomes. Department cameras caught their own unfairness. A chart showed white drivers stopped 8%, black drivers 82%. A murmur rolled through the room. Alden muttered, selective clips. No, Serena said. Full files, complete timestamps. Another screen showed checkpoint zones over commuting routes. The red net didn't catch crime, it caught neighborhoods. Alden tried again. Patterns can be faked. Serena didn't blink. So can excuses. She showed a memo recommending other checkpoint sites that were ignored. Your traffic logic contradicted your own study, she said. Another overlay showed schools, churches, and clinics blocked by barricades. Everyday life became an obstacle course. A member asked about false positives. Massive, Serena said. Stops without cause filled the arrest pipeline. Complaints were rerouted or closed. She nodded to Daniel. Internal affairs blocked, not oversaw. The chair nodded grimly. Audio, Serena continued. A recording played. Rourke said, Councilman wants numbers from Westfield. Make it happen. Maddox, even without cause, find cause. A waveform and spectrogram confirmed their voices. Voice analysis verified. Serena explained. Another file played. Alden's voice again. Public safety is the excuse. Property values are the goal. Keep Westfield's people away. Lawmakers stirred. Serena said, this was during planning, not locker room talk. Silence worked. Then she said, policies don't echo prejudice by accident. They carry it out. Pens scribbled fast. Then documents. Emails cascaded. Orders adjusting focus by neighborhood. Reviews tied to Westfield arrests. Reminders to find cause. Spreadsheets of arrests by race, searches by district, case outcomes. For the same infractions, black drivers were arrested 7 times more. She clicked again. Planning slides from Alden's office beside developer letters and donation lists. Policy met profit, she said. Harassment lowered values. Investors bought low. Families pushed out. The DOJ deputy rose. Based on the record, we will prosecute for civil rights. Alden's lawyer whispered urgently. Alden stared ahead. A member asked Serena, what safeguards stop this elsewhere? She answered smoothly. Independent checkpoint oversight. Mandatory stop data release. Automatic audits when disparities pass limits. Personal accountability for leaders. Remediation. Case reviews, expungements, payments. Serena said again, public trust is the foundation of security. Without it, everything shakes. Outside cameras flashed. Inside the transcript grew, stronger than any spin. After the hearing, Serena stepped into a quiet hallway. Daniel joined, tie loose. You held the line, he said. You widened it, she replied. A staffer passed them a draft of the new bill, the Equitable Enforcement Act. Serena read the points. Oversight triggers, public dashboards, penalties for non-compliance. She handed it back. Make the guardrails harder to bend, she said. Daniel nodded. Internal Affairs told me complaints were reclassified as training issues. Serena frowned. We'll dig up the paper trail. Systems hide shame in paperwork shadows. We'll bring flashlights. A Capitol bell rang. The work, not the ceremony, continued. Back in Greenfield, the task force takes over a big meeting room. It feels almost like a hospital where something serious is happening. On the walls, big boards show charts about who got arrested and when. Technicians copy people's phones to check for proof. Analysts match police schedules with arrests to catch spikes. Rourke sits to the side, whispering with his lawyer. Maddox keeps looking at the door like he wishes he could change the past. Alden walks around until a soldier tells him to sit down. Serena talks with lawyers from the Justice Department about how to fix old arrests. She says people should not have to beg to get their records cleared. We will publish the names, dates, charges, and steps, she says. Then we will call people directly. The first person to come back is Mrs. Geneva. She looks strong but careful. Serena meets her in a small office. Mrs. Geneva, thank you for coming, Serena says. The woman gives a small smile. Didn't think anyone would ever say that to me. A lawyer explains the papers she needs to sign. A counselor talks about how she can get her school tuition back. Mrs. Geneva says, I lost my job after the arrest. They said I lied on the form. Serena answers softly, we will write letters showing your arrest was unfair. Employers like courage when the truth is shown. Mrs. Geneva nods. She feels like she can breathe again. Outside, cameras flash. Inside, signatures begin undoing a bad system that never should have existed. At night, the task force keeps working. Marcus's team checks police cameras and points out missing videos. Citizens' own videos fill the gaps. Daniel writes down a timeline of orders, showing who said what and when. Serena writes a memo to police chiefs. If officers turn off cameras, they will face punishment unless there is clear proof of a real problem. Batteries don't always die at the best time. Alden practices answers to fake reporters, but his lawyer tells him to stay quiet. Rourke stares at his hands, remembering his mistakes. The next morning, Serena checks a draft agreement with rules for the police. Open data, outside monitors, better training, and real punishment. Weak medicine won't fix a sick system, she says. Marcus makes sure it has teeth, audits, funding rules, staff checks. A lawyer adds a community board with power to demand answers. No fake advice groups, Serena insists. Daniel texts, Maya trans video is real. Times match with call logs. Serena replies with a check mark. Progress is quiet, typing keys, papers stapled. Alden's trial starts under a gray sky. He steps from a car into a crowd of microphones he used to control. Inside the courtroom, smelling of wood polish, he hears the charges: civil rights violations, abuse of power, obstruction. He says, not guilty, his jaw tight. Outside, Serena tells reporters, the filings speak. She passes a sign, we believe our eyes. Daniel stands with former defendants, not as props but as real people ready to sue. Accountability doesn't need a stage. Weeks go by. Westfield Heights feels lighter. The old checkpoint road now has cars, kids on bikes, and a flower van. Serena visits shops, talking about repair money and clinics. A barber says, business came back when fear left. Serena nods. That's a measure no chart needs. She meets a pastor running free legal nights and a teacher helping seniors with forms. Systems change slowly, but people's trust can grow faster when they see locks being replaced with hinges. At the Pentagon, Serena briefs a cross-agency team. Maps cover the walls. We see similar problems in other places, she says, showing hot spots near bases and minority areas. Marcus explains a new alert system. Service members can report civil rights worries in secret. Reports are 60% clearer now, he says. A DHS worker asks, what if cities fight back? Serena replies, expect it. Build oversight to handle it. She ends with, order without justice becomes control. Our job is honesty. People nod and take notes. At court, Alden's lawyer tries to block some audio evidence. The judge refuses, it's legal and important. Serena doesn't celebrate. She knows trials are long battles. She gets coffee from a food truck. A young man says, my dad's charge is gone. Thank you. Serena shakes his hand but reminds herself gratitude is fuel, not the mission. In a lab, technicians finish copying phones. Texts show police nights planned with Piessa's words. Daniel finds one message, stop cars from crossing town after 10. That's not curfew, Serena says. That's control. Marcus sends a note to take licenses from repeat bad officers. The room is plain, full of white light, gloves, and quiet people adding up accountability. Serena advises another state attorney general, post data online. Let sunlight clean it. Bad numbers will scream, then shrink. About unions, she says, talk early. Make it about safety. No one wants to police people who feel under attack. Later, Daniel tells her his brother wants to help at clinics. Good, she smiles. 1 week later, Alden meets prosecutors. He leaves pale and silent. Reporters ask, are you cooperating? He ignores them. Serena doesn't chase rumors. Marcus later reports checkpoints existed even before the ordinance. So, the ordinance didn't start the rot, Serena says. It gave it a badge. She signs papers for conspiracy charges. The case grows like a cathedral, slow stone by stone. Serena practices testimony, cutting fancy words. Daniel does the same, sticking to facts. Rourke's lawyer asks for a deal. Maddox's too. Serena says, the truth decides, not me. Maya Tran meets prosecutors, steady. She wants safety, not fame. In court, evidence piles up, videos, audio, documents. Serena speaks a little. I ordered oversight after months of proof. Daniel explains how complaints were hidden. The defense says it's a coincidence. The data doesn't blush. The jury listens. Verdicts take time, but truth sometimes runs faster. Later, Serena speaks to students on Capitol steps. Write rules like someone will try to cheat them, because they will. A girl asks, how can we help? Serena says, learn your rights. Teach your friends. Vote in boring elections. A boy adds, and if they ignore us? She replies, then persist. Persistence is paperwork, meetings, and showing up again tomorrow. Back at her desk, Serena reads a letter. A teacher's student got their scholarship back. She sets it beside a darker report from another state. New checkpoints rising. She circles it. Audit now. Marcus says, we've got bandwidth. She nods. Success brings copycats, but shared work brings strength. A local paper tells about Officer Reggie, now helping. He admits they were told to hide cameras and invent reasons. The public reacts, but calmly. They want truth, not drama. Serena writes to his lawyer, Cooperation noted. She adds Reggie's name to her list of officers who chose the right path. Accountability without cruelty is hard, but she insists, do it anyway. Daniel starts his first week at the bureau. He texts a photo of his messy desk. Welcome to the fight, with better printers, Serena jokes. They plan how to copy Greenfield's model: early warnings, complaint tracking, Rayall whistleblower safety. We'll need translators, Daniel says. People who can turn numbers into stories. Serena replies, you just volunteered. He laughs, already chasing a new case. In another state, lawmakers debate a new fairness law. Some fear too many rules. Supporters show charts of fewer bad arrests when sunlight shines. Serena doesn't testify. The community does. A teenager says they drove a car without being scared for the first time. A nurse talks about missing work because the police stopped her for no reason. A new law gets passed, but only by 3 votes. Big changes don't come with fireworks. They come as small things, like a Tuesday that feels a little better than the last one. A judge gives Rourke a punishment. It includes losing his certificate, doing service in the community, and learning about people's civil rights. Maddox gets less time but has to be watched more closely. The group called PS still has a harder, longer case to finish. Outside, Serena doesn't celebrate. This is not a parade, she tells a reporter. It's like fixing leaks in the pipes, so water doesn't hurt the house. You don't want leaks, but you still have to repair them. She goes to Westfield Heights for a meeting about helping people clear old records. People clap for her. She lifts her hand and says, save the claps for the clerks and helpers. They are the ones who make new rules feel real. In a small church basement, volunteers prepare snacks and put on name tags. They help people at the expungement clinic. Serena thanks them, then sits in the back, letting the night belong to the neighborhood. A young man says his college scholarship came back after 2 years. An aunt says her nephew can drive for rideshare again. These are small miracles. Paperwork that feels alive. Serena puts in her pocket a paper with the dates of next month's clinics in 2 other cities. Good ideas move around. They should never wait for permission. Someone from the Hill calls Serena for advice. She says, when you write money rules, connect them to real results. Give grants only if groups show they are fair, not just promise to be. Make reports public. If offices are scared of sunlight, check them first. The man laughs, then grows serious. We are learning, he says. Serena ends the call and checks her watch. Her calendar is like a chessboard. Today's pieces moved well. Tomorrow will be harder, but she likes the challenge. In Greenfield, the new police chief holds a meeting at the high school. Banners say, trust is a practice. Serena sits quietly as people talk about hopes and pain. The chief promises, cameras on, data shared, oversight in place. Daniel, now wearing a bureau badge, speaks last. Being fair is not against the police, he says. It's for the community and for the Constitution. Serena watches the crowd relax. The sound of relief is like a whole room taking a breath together. Another month, another report. Serena looks at stop and search data while drinking cold coffee. She marks strange numbers in yellow and writes down names of helpers who can open doors. Marcus brings her a folder. Service member complaints are down by 63% since the new system started, he says. The warning system works. Serena nods. Good. But we need to keep training, so people don't get lazy. Success makes people skip steps. We can't allow that. The office hums with steady purpose. It feels like a machine tuned for fairness, not fear. A message from Daniel arrives. Randall sentencing today, it says. Serena reads, 5 years, money to victims, not allowed to hold office. Justice is late but real. She thinks of her grandmother at the community center. The grandson is back in college. The barber with busy chairs again. The surgeon saved the kids again. None of them wanted a hero. They wanted a system that noticed when it hurt them and stopped. Serena's helper brings in a young Air Force officer. Lieutenant Naomi Briggs, the helper says. Briggs salutes. I was stopped at a checkpoint 2 weeks ago. Serena asks her to sit. Did you report it? Briggs hesitates. I wasn't sure until I read about Greenfield. Every report matters, Serena replies. Big patterns start as small dots. What happens now? Briggs asks. Now we follow the trail, Serena says. We collect reports, compare outcomes, talk to witnesses. If it's a pattern, we show it. If it's a mistake, we fix it. She shows Briggs the steps, a secure portal, helpers, community partners. Wearing a uniform doesn't stop bias, Serena says. But it means we must protect the Constitution for everyone. Briggs straightens. That's why I filed my report. Not just for me. Exactly, Serena says. She points at a glowing map on the wall. It shows dots across the country. Some dots fade when reforms work. Others shine brighter, calling for action. The work never ends, but that's the best part. It keeps choosing you if you keep choosing it. Later that week, Serena and Marcus meet with state attorneys and police boards. A slide shows before and after. Complaints down, trust up, crime steady. Fairness doesn't hurt safety, Serena says. It makes safety strong. A chief asks, and the cost? Less than lawsuits, less than losing officers, less than broken towns, Serena answers. Nobody claps. They take notes. That's better. Notes become rules. Daniel sends a late text. A whistleblower used our secure channel tonight. Gave names, dates, files. Respect their courage. Protect them twice, Serena replies. She adds a reminder. Give whistleblowers more counseling and legal help. Systems change when insiders choose truth over silence. Serena looks at her reflection in the window. For small stars shine above her tired face. She smiles once, then shuts her laptop. On Saturday, Serena buys peaches at the farmer's market. A vendor asks, how do we keep this from happening again? Stay loud, she says. Show up, read reports, ask for the raw numbers. Power doesn't like calendars. She passes the old checkpoint spot. The ground doesn't remember, but people do. A kid rides through where cones once stood. He doesn't look for permission. That's the point. On a red-eye flight to DC, Serena writes a training module. It explains what to do if a camera stops working. Write it down, follow the steps, give punishment if needed. She adds a rule, if it isn't recorded, act as if the public saw it anyway. She closes her eyes. She hears the buzzing lights in Greenfield's room. Memory can hurt, but it can also guide. She lands with a plan. In the Pentagon, Marcus brings fresh reports. 17 departments changed checkpoint rules on their own, he says. And the ones that didn't? 9 are under review by the DOJ. Red outlines blink on the map. The system is working. It catches unfairness early. Serena nods. Keep the signal loud. Keep it fair. Her secure phone buzzes. Text from Daniel. Randall sentenced. 5 years. Restitution. She exhales, quietly, then says, onward. Her helper knocks. Next appointment. Send her in. Briggs walks in again, wearing her Air Force uniform. Serena says, this is your country too. Let's make the roads feel safe for you. Briggs nods. She tells her story. Polite answers met with suspicion, waiting an hour for nothing. Serena listens and takes notes. We'll start with records and outreach, she says. If others had the same problem, we'll know. What should I expect? Briggs asks. Noise, then denial, then proof, Serena says. And finally, change. She half smiles. The arc doesn't bend. We bend it. Briggs smiles back. The work finds the people it needs. At Quantico, Serena trains investigators. She teaches Greenfield as a lesson, not a victory dance. Shortcuts look fast, but they rot systems, she warns. Catch small slips before they become rules. A young detective asks, "What if my captain is the problem?" "Write it down anyway," Serena says. Truth outlasts rank. Later, Serena reads thank you notes from people who had their records cleared. Handwritten, warm, full of thanks. She puts them down and checks her spreadsheet of restitution payments. Numbers matter because real lives live inside them. Marcus stops at her door. "Take an evening off," he says. "The map will be here tomorrow." She promises, but both know it's hard. He leaves a peach on her desk anyway. Late at night, Serena passes the glowing map. She thinks of Alina Parks, of Daniel's files, of Marcus's salute, of the barber, the grandmother, the surgeon. None were props. They were the reason. No checkpoints, she whispers. No double standards. The lights dim. Tomorrow is coming. The next morning, Serena tells Briggs the first results. 2 more complaints, same street, same story. "We'll visit," she says. Briggs nods. Bravery isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just showing up on a Tuesday. Serena pockets her badge and leaves with her team. Somewhere, a camera will blink off. Somewhere, a policy will forget its job. But somewhere, someone will breathe easier because strangers cared. An internal newsletter asks if Serena will write a column. She says no, and sends bullet points instead. Share data. Train bosses, not just new workers. Reward calm voices. Record everything. Admit mistakes. Protect whistleblowers. Listen longer. The editor replies, "Not poetic, but perfect." Serena laughs. Policy doesn't need to rhyme. It just needs to work. She pins a photo on her board, Westfield Heights without cones. Kids riding bikes in the morning. That's the real poetry. Months pass, then shine in clear moments. A council changes a bad law. A police chief stands beside a civilian board and promises teamwork. A judge clears 50 cases in one sweep. A bakery gives half-priced coffee to people with new clean records. Serena collects these wins, then sets them down. Wins are not the end. They are checkpoints of a better kind. Places to make sure the lights are still on, and the road still leads to fairness for everyone. If this story moved you, please subscribe for more kind and powerful stories. Watch our next video for another unforgettable journey. And share this story with someone who needs it today.